Hi, I'm Liz Cully, and welcome back to Cool, Cool, Cool. Each week, I give you a glimpse into what I think is cool and chat with a ton of people that are definitely cool. No topic is off bounds unless I guess it's not cool. Welcome to Cool, Cool, Cool. What's really fun about the podcasting space is meeting other podcasters that are cool and become your friends. I've been so lucky to kind of join this world, what I feel like was later in life, and meet so many people that I love. I was a huge fan of Bad Queers podcast a couple years ago, right during the pandemic. They started their podcast, Kris and Shana, the same time that I started my previous podcast. And I would always kind of watch what they were doing and listen to their episodes. And I loved them. They were both living in the Bay Area at the time, friends, colleagues, and they just had this incredible chemistry that it's pretty like infectious. I feel like you listen to Bad Queers and you feel like you just listened to two friends catching up, but I don't know, like in a really fun, intimate, special way. So it's been a little while since I've talked to Kris and Shana, and I was like, you know what? Why has it been so long? These two, they need to be on my show. Only the Patreon friends get video. You know why? Okay, because they're the real ones.
Like, I can update this if you need to make it look nice.
Wow, you look good. I'm in what I call a hostage negotiation room. This is my wife's office. It's just white. It's so weird. I hate being in here. It's like so strange. She doesn't want any of her clients like to be distracted by her background. So I literally look like I'm like,
so it just looks like you're a serial killer.
Literally I look like I'm like, please just give them anything they ask for. I didn't tell them anything.
Today is May 4th.
Exactly.
It's 6 a.m.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th
be with you. I mean, Bad Queers. This is the throuple that I've been waiting for so long. Speaking of throuples, speaking of threes,
I love that this is how we're starting.
Happy third anniversary.
Thank you. Hey.
How many episodes was that?
What a pro.
It's like I've done it before.
Yeah.
That's professional shit. We're at like what, 150
Damn.
and some change?
Yeah, 150
change.
Yeah.
151. Have me on as a guest. What's good?
I know.
Right?
Let's go. 151.
If you're going to have those other faulty people on there, might as well have me.
Yeah, no, seriously.
And now
no, it's been good. We were a pandemic podcast, even though we were planning it before the pandemic, but we were a pandemic podcast. So we've actually never recorded in person. So we were talking about that. We were like, we really have to do one in person at least.
Like together in person?
Together in person. The podcast has never seen us in the same room recording.
Yeah. At all.
We've crossed many a time zone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Many a location that we have recorded,
when
but we
did
have
you
never
move? Because you
room.
moved. I mean, it was obviously like lockdown, but then you moved to Phoenix. San Diego, then Phoenix, then Chicago.
Yeah, I did like a mini nomad trip and then moved in with my girlfriend because that's the slippery slope that happens.
I feel like that's like the queer gap year is what you just described.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just couch surfing and then moving in with your girlfriend. That's what y'all aspire
Phoenix,
to.
San Diego,
right there.
What was Phoenix like?
Yeah, so I've lived there before. So this was almost like when my girlfriend moved. She moved 3 Julys ago. I don't know. She moved on the summer, and I was like, we have only been dating for 6 months. I am not moving with you. But
smart.
Pandemic hit. It was starting to calm down a little bit. I was like, you know what? There's nothing really that's keeping me here anymore. Let me just go ahead and bounce around and just go and stay with friends and see different cities that I've thought about living in. And so I went down the coast of California, and I had lived in Arizona before I moved to California. So I had some friends that were still there and got to go and live there. Phoenix itself is pretty cool. Like it's chill, but it's also still very white.
That's what gets me. Literally, as a cis white woman, I'm queer, but I'm like,
bubble of things, because Phoenix is gorgeous. It's beautiful. There's lots of hikes that you can do.
Yeah, the hiking looks good.
The hiking is great. Bachelorette parties, love to bachelorette party there, and it's a hot commodity, literally and figuratively. But overall, it's a nice, safe-ish little bubble of things. There's a couple of queer bars. The only one that I really got to go to was like this country lesbian bar. And literally that's what you did was you went in and did your little two-step dances and all of that in this like really, really, really strange bar that was in the middle of nowhere.
And then you went to Chicago.
All the queers knew where it was. And then I went to Chicago. And I was only supposed to come for 2 months because my girlfriend had only lived in California. Shut up. And my girlfriend had only lived in the
beginning. I was like, you're wasting
California.
Time. Just nomading. I know where you're going to end up. Hey, call on me. I know where you're going to end up.
So I was only supposed to come for 2 months because she had never lived outside Cali. So she'd never done like a Chicago winter. I had lived in central Illinois and Minneapolis. And so I was in Chicago a lot. And so I was like, I'll come out. Make sure that you don't get that seasonal depression.
Warm her up.
And
snuggles.
We just kept making plans and more plans and more plans. And then it was like, are you staying? I was like, I guess I'm staying. And
what was that? When was that?
You said when was?
Yeah.
That was last year.
Oh, okay. So it's been
January last year. I was supposed to only come for January, February last year. And here we are.
I've been back. Taylor's all this time.
And then Kris has a whole grown-up child.
A fucking family.
Yep.
Like what?
Yep. Child has a briefcase and a 401k.
Briefcase. He has his own law firm. He does look like a little slick back. He has his little fro. Yes, I have a whole 8-month-old. It is wild. He has his little personality. Before you got on, Shana, we were talking about I need to do his full birth chart.
Yeah, because I was
important.
like, what's his sun, his rising, his moon? She didn't know. And here's the thing.
The fact that you haven't done that is hilarious.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy because like my mom is an old white lady who like doesn't love me. Do you know what I mean? So like she doesn't know where my birth certificate is. Every time I've asked her what time I was born, it has changed. It has been a variety of numbers. And that is very important when you're going and doing your chart.
Yeah.
And so I was looking through some paper. I've already forgotten it, but I finally found my baby book. Did you start a baby book for him? Like first first step.
But not really. I mean, it's all on the phone, basically.
Okay, fine.
Well,
we'll do one of those because they have like Keepsake and all these other shits
exactly.
where you just send your pictures and videos.
But mine was like 2 months. Like she just piddled out. She was like, nah, whatever. It was like, Elizabeth,
this is a lot of
good
effort.
start. Good
whatever.
Start.
But it finally had my time,
like birth
my
time
birth
and
time,
everything.
and I finally got it. And it was a little bit different than I thought it was. But I think if you get his full chart, you'll really understand. You know what? Actually, don't get his chart. I know I sort of sent you a baby present already, but I'm going to gift you a baby chart. It's the whitest, lesbian,
I was like, if y'all
gayest thing I can do.
Wow. Honestly, that should be on a list of things that queer folks should get for
100%.
like their
Auntie
babies
Liz
and stuff. This is it.
I got you.
This
is what I'm going to do. So don't do it. My friend Ramona, who's amazing, I will have, you just got to give me all the information and we'll get his chart done.
I'm going to send it to you. Yeah, no, we need to. Then we got to circle back for a reveal because again, he is a Virgo, born August 31st. He was born on the fucking hottest day out here. He was born 3 weeks early because he does what he wants because from the very get-go does what he wants. And yeah, the first 4 months are crazy. I didn't grow up particularly wanting a baby or thinking it was possible. So I definitely warmed up to it when I got married and before we got married. I was like, yeah, it'd be cool. But I'm scared of babies. Like they have loose necks and they're very, breakable and everything. Like honestly, their necks.
Had you changed a diaper before your son?
No, I had not. Like I hadn't done any of that stuff. Like, and then where I was kind of born in like my cousin order, like I didn't really have a baby around. So yeah, I didn't really have experience with it. So the first 4 months, I would say just like nerve-wracking.
That first baby poop is the most disgusting thing. I know.
Gross. But you know what? My wife has been nursing. There is a big difference between like formula poop and then like breastfed poop. I was like, huge. It is a huge difference. But yeah, as the time went by, you learn, you get better about it. My wife told me to unclench my butt when I hold him and it got better. And he is now thick as thieves. His neck is strong. My butt is loose. We're having a good time. We're rolling around. We're learning new things. He's trying to crawl. He's sitting up now. I'm just like, God, slow down. Like it's amazing now. It's really fun now.
Gas pedal. Slow down. You better put on some Sage the Gemini. Get him to relax.
Shout out to the Bay.
Shout out always to the Bay. Always to the Bay. Wow. So you're like done with California then. You're Chicago all the way.
I'm out here. I was like, I am affording places to live.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
What's
I was
the
like,
what's the
drinks don't cost $20 a glass. Like, it's real nice.
What's the
real
lesbian scene like in Chicago?
It's actually pretty fun. It's definitely, again, male dominated because that's what we do. I literally live in Boys Town.
Oh, you do?
I live in the gayborhood.
Okay.
But there are two other neighborhoods that the queer women are taking over. The older lesbian is taking over Ravenswood, which is a bit north of here. And then we have Andersonville, which is like the queer women have been able to take over. And the more calm queers also live there. So the ones who aren't out here wanting to get drunk and lit and doing all the things all the time.
Why do you live in Boys Town then?
Live in this. Well, girlfriend lived like a street over. And then we hung out with two of her friends, also a queer couple, who told us that there was an apartment complex, like open in the apartment complex that are across the hall from them. So really, we're living the queer dream because they watch our cat and all we have to do is open the door and he walks over there, and we watch their dog, open the door, dog walks over here. And it's great. Also, I play in gay sports leagues and things like that. So we always end up over here anyway. What type of joy is it for me to go out, hang out with those friends, and then be like, you know what? I'm just going to walk home. Why? Because my house is around the corner and I don't have to stay out here late with you hoes. And it's a dream. It is a dream. Plus, all of the businesses want all of the gays to come there. So everything is pride. Everything is welcoming. It's great. Like, I'm benefiting from these white gays over here in my little safe bubble. It's nice.
Honestly,
take your reparations.
I was going to say.
You could get them. Any way you could get them at this point.
You know, those cis gay white men, they owe us a lot, quite frankly. Do you miss anything about the Bay?
I miss a lot.
Like what?
I do miss a lot about the Bay. I think
Mexican food, I would assume.
First of all,
my God.
Second of all, because it's not the same.
I know.
It's just not the same. Day parties.
Oh, day parties.
Nobody wants to party during the daytime here.
All rooftop parties in the
It
summer.
It is. They start at like 4.
I prefer that. What are you going to do at 1 o'clock?
They're like, thank you. I was like, we had day parties that started at 2 and then went till 8. I was like, you start at 4, we're going past, and they don't stop their parties. That's the other thing. So yes, it's rooftop, but it's like brunch rooftop and things like that. So I've been brunching hard, which has been great. But day parties and stuff, it doesn't, they're like, oh, we can be on the roof at night because summertime shy is where it's at.
I know.
It is a great time. All of summertime, there's festivals everywhere, every weekend, the beach, sharkless and warm.
That's important.
There's a beach.
And the water is warm.
She said
like
that's important.
That's important.
Thank you.
Wait, there's a beach in Chicago?
Yes.
To the ocean?
There's the lake.
Oh,
because the lake is like, huge. Because it's like all, like when you look on the map, it's like the whole in between the mitten of like Michigan and Illinois. And it's huge. So it basically acts like.
Don't let them call it a beach, though. Don't let them call it a beach.
It is a beach.
Isn't it a shoreline? Isn't it a shoreline?
It's better than half the beaches that are in the Bay. I was like, you think?
I mean, I'm not gonna. That's a shot at Liz.
Alameda count for a beach? Come on.
Well, but it's Virginia not. It's Beach, a lake, though. Technically,
if we're comparing, yes. But look, we can only ask for so much. We freeze in the wintertime. You give us a beach.
There's nothing wrong with using lake, though. Like, why does it?
Shoreline.
Yeah, it is. It is a lake. There's the whole Lake Shore Drive.
Okay,
it's Lake Shore Drive. Lake Shore, a shoreline.
The beaches are off the shore.
Potato. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
What change have you seen in Kris since Kris became a parent?
Oh my gosh, I love this question.
Wow.
Oh man, there's been an adulting that has happened in Kris. That's like Kris was a calm person anyway.
Yeah,
smooth. But I think hearing the stories of her going out and like having to adult, especially the day that you had to watch Emery by yourself because Shalay went out and to hear the reactions that she comes back with, really, it's like not much has changed, but the stories have gotten better.
Yeah.
I think that's
feels
really
like I've unlocked a new level of adulting. Like, I feel like I'm good and my personality is all right for it, but like he will definitely test anybody he meets first. Like, it's like when she would, like her first couple times where she was gone for the full day or, a couple days, is like one day it would be like he shits up his back and it's like our first time doing that. And it's just like, holy, like, where do I even start? Like, can we just throw away these clothes? Like, can we just start over?
That is the answer, actually.
That's the answer to me. Or, like the food she would like pre-prepare. He was like, I want that shit fresh. And it's like, okay, all right. I'll do it. It's okay. But no, it is just more of just like yeah, like I am raising a whole human. And to me, it's just like, I do think about how, first off, it's a mind fuck because for the family members that didn't go to our wedding, slightly or overtly or slightly homophobic, once you have a kid, like it's just like you're straight again. They're like, care. Oh, you're back. Like they're just like, care. Oh God, you did all the straight things. Like you got married and you had a kid. Oh my God, you're straight again. So people treat you so differently. So I just got back from home and there was a couple of people I didn't want to personally be around because I don't fuck with them. But, you know, it's like my mom's sisters and stuff. So it's like, you know, y'all do your thing. But it is very crazy to have that dynamic change. Within me, I'm just like, wow, I am raising a kid. Privileged to be raising a kid. More of us should be able to do so and it be cheap because it's expensive as fuck.
I know,
to even
that's
conceive.
Where I'm at. I'm all types of scared these days. Plus, I'm old.
But I'll tell you what, like we are, you know, old is subjective now. Like what's old? You know?
I'm turning 38 this summer. That's a geriatric. They might as well put me in a wheelchair.
That's what they say.
But it's like everybody's.
Yeah, but you guys are young. How old are you, Kris?
I'll be 35 in October.
And I'm 33.
Yeah, we're in our 30s. It's different, but think about it though. This is the way I look at it too.
How old's your wife?
I also had older parents. My dad was like 45 when he had me.
My mom was 40 when she had me.
Oh, so see I feel like you're calmer though. This would probably be the best time in your life. Like this is the best time. It could not even have been a year earlier. Like this is the best time in my life.
Because you're at the day party.
Human. Exactly.
2 p.m. on the dot.
Exactly. So this is the best time, most stable time of my life.
I know. Honestly, that was the time that I got to spend the most time with Kris was during those party times and Kris hosting parties and hosting events and things. Yeah. And now to see the pivot, it feels like a natural
every weekend,
a natural move for her. And it's just so funny because it's like, we could be talking, we can be shooting the shit like we normally do. And then she'll say something that is very much like, oh, wow, that was really adult of you to now go and say this. Or she just like, I don't even know what that means anymore. And I'm like, you are a whole adult because you are raising a child. And so those have been like the small switches that we've seen now. And it's really funny because sometimes she'll like bring Emery on screen. And because I'm not around her, minus us recording, it's still funny to be like, wow, that is your child. Like,
he's so cute.
Raised that.
I'm dead for
and I'm
him.
just like, you hold it. And I'm like, that could be your cousin or like, you know, somebody you're babysitting or things like that. Cause I don't get to see Kris as regularly as I used to. But still in my head, I have to remember like somebody says like, oh, like how's Emery? And I'm like, that's a whole baby that Kris had. And it just like blows my mind each time. Each time.
Did you watch the birth?
Still shocked. I did. It was such an experience. Like we did get a doula. I do recommend that for really anybody, but definitely any blood color.
Your face. Wait
a minute. What?
I just like as soon as you said yes, jaw just dropped.
You know what it is?
I did.
No, that's tight. That's some real adult shit.
That's tight as well. Like that's because it wasn't tight.
It wasn't. Right? I'm sure it was. I vividly remember in 6th grade watching like the birthing video and the color and it was very vivid. A lot of liquid, and I just got my ass up out and walked out. And it was like one of those classic California public schools where we like went to school in a trailer. I basically went to school in a trailer park. It was very strange. I still don't understand that. And I walk outside and I was like, oh no. And I'll never forget, I walked back in. I was like, what, 11? And I was like, that's why women's faces are on the other side. And I sat back down and I thought I was so proud of myself. I thought I was so funny and so clever. And now I'm like, oh, Lord, because I was a nanny for 10 years. I've raised other people's whole kids. I wasn't just a babysitter. I was like really day in, day out. So I respect it. That's why I'm so scared of it. I understand parenting.
Yep.
Intimately. However, I've never done it. I always want to caveat that because the listeners live to tell me I'm not a mom.
Right. I love saying as a parent. Use that now. Anyway,
I know that's like it's a new level of respect.
It is a new level of respect. Plus, you're like, I'm a fucking parent. I will fuck you. I can't wait to be like a mean mom and be like, I will fuck you up. Anyway,
that's your life.
But you just
that's my wife.
Watched. Were you scared?
Here's the thing, though,
like I just would be like,
I was scared. That video you described in middle school, during family life, I didn't watch any of that shit because I was like, none of this pertains to me. I am gay. So the video came on. I didn't watch the video. We were also supposed to take like that crying baby home for a week or write an essay. Definitely wrote an essay. So I didn't do any of that shit. So I will say for it,
we had an egg and I killed it real quick. I was like, just on the ground. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, so I didn't do any of that shit. So I did see it live. It was different seeing it live though, because her epidural kicked in, so she wasn't like in any crazy pain, and it's just like you're just trying to actually motivate her to push it up because she feels nothing once that epidural hits. So I'm like, go, like she doesn't even know. Like it's just like the doctor took her hand to like touch the crown of the baby because she can't like feel anything. So she's not in any pain where it's just like nuts.
But also think about
but yeah, she's just pushing out and then you see it and it's like, oh, okay, kind of gross.
Vagina.
But yeah, it is. I'm like, that's okay, that's a head coming out of that's okay. So I saw the video live. So it wasn't bad live. You're just like, oh, okay. The afterwards, like once the baby comes out and they have to like deliver the rest of the stuff. Now that is a little like, all right. But no, you get through it. It's just like, okay.
I wonder,
they clean the baby up and there we have it. Yeah.
I wonder if more like women relationships, because it's like for men, for the most part, you know, they stay behind the shoulders and they're like, no. I would love to see the poll to see how many men versus women actually like watch the full break.
I know some real ass dudes that have, I mean, my boy Ben, shout out to Ben. He has 3 boys under 6.
Whew.
I know, they're the best.
Okay.
I love those fucking kids. I talk about
Congrats
them all the time.
y'all.
They're the best.
Oh my God.
He watched it all. He helped.
Yeah.
He's a real man though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, once you're around your pregnant partner, you're just
so
like,
adult.
that's just the next thing. That's the next.
And by that time, you're
there,
ready.
you know?
You're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, who's this going to be? And like, you see it and it's like crazy, but like, I feel like the graphics on like movies and stuff now, it's just like graphic where it's just like, okay, well, at least it's like life being born, right? Like, it's kind of cool. Now, cutting the umbilical cord, very scared. I was like, here. Okay, wait. Tell me, point where? Point where? Like,
that's the most
accurate. I'm like, wait. No,
I would be.
Wait,
you're like, what if I give him an outie or an innie?
Yeah, and then like when I did like the first kind of cut down, like it went like cut, and I was like,
what?
Like, is it supposed to is it supposed to be? Yeah, and now that part is kind of gross because it's just like this is human matter that you're cutting through, and it's just like, so I gotta like cut hard and through it, and there's like blood, so. You welcome, listeners. But yeah, it is an adventure.
I did not. You know what? I love this. I didn't know. This is so wild. Whoa.
And then they ask you, it's like, you can't say no, right? Like, you want to cut it? Not really.
Like, nah. And they go because they gonna look at you and be like, all right, punk. And
yeah,
like,
right. Exactly. I don't want to punk out.
Did she eat her placenta?
No, she didn't keep it. I wonder what they're doing with it, but no, we didn't do any of that.
Somebody else ate it.
Somebody got it. Yeah,
somebody got that placenta.
Somebody got it.
Wow. I'm sweating.
Shit's wild.
Sweating.
Yeah. Liz, you were asking all the questions that I was like, I'm not even going to enter this
Why not?
realm of what this is. I had a lot of other questions.
Like what?
Or so about the post stuff that Kris had done, because I just wanted to hear about all of her first reactions to everything because I knew they were going to be iconic, and they were.
Oh, like when the pee sprays. I mean, listen, like, especially with boy, it's like the shit up the back. The first shit up the back. Crazy. It's funny. Speaking of our friends who have 3 boys under 3, we were over there and the little one did the other day. And he's same age, actually, 8 months, but still she's breastfeeding him and he's eating solid food. So that poop is like beyond. I mean, that is a menagerie of nutrients and things. Yeah. And I walked in and I was like, oh, he just woke up from his nap and he, was so cute. His name's George. And he just shit up to the neck. And Rachel was like, oh, because she's never even changed a diaper. And I'm like, in there. But the birth, it's the birth. That's what freaks me out. And being pregnant. Do you think, would you ever, either of you?
You sound like my mom. My mom just asked me that. She's like trying to guilt me.
I am basically your mom. I'm old boomer over here. I'm like, TikTok, I have 400 followers.
Right? I was like, don't be like Vanessa. Don't be like Vanessa Lachey where they come for you.
Oh, I didn't
no. So no for me. I just feel like I'd be a terrible, it'd just be horrible for me. I have already had bad cycles. No. Like my wife has like easy periods and just like pretty healthy and everything. Like Like COVID took me down like twice.
Yeah,
you know, I have bad periods. I just feel like I would be an awful pregnant person. It's just not for me. Like I was like, she did a great job, and like, let's run this back for sure.
You're gonna have another one, you think?
We're gonna two, because I was like, if we're gonna do it, at least have two. Like my wife's she's not an only child, but she kind of grew up as an only child, and I was like, there's a lot of only child like things that she does where I'm like, I don't want that.
See, here's the problem. I'm like, I'm broke out here living in California. What dream did I just try to achieve? And I said to Rachel, I was like, I'm old. I think we can only have one at this point. But I have a grip of siblings, which I love because when one acts wrong, well, first of all, I talk shit about everybody, but I just talk different shit to each sibling about the other siblings. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, what would happen if I just had one? So what does she do that's like only...
She sucks at sharing. Like there's a ownership of all things that is just like, oh, you've never had to really share, huh? Okay, got it. Let's see, what else does she do that's only child? That's the biggest thing, because it's just sharing. Like just that's far reaching, which is sharing. I think she had to grow up a little bit quicker. So I always call her like, she's like fucking business casual at 6. And like, did you ride the bus? Did you play outside? No, she's like kind of like a little working child, which is interesting. So things like that, where it's just like she missed out on like the hand-me-downs or having to be patient with others. All these little things that if you have siblings, you have to just like deal with a lot of shit.
Getting like thrown down the stairs.
Oh, and just also just the biggest thing, like just attention wise, like I'm the youngest, and like
everybody
when I get attention from my parents. Exactly. When I get attention from my mom, it's the greatest thing in the world. I don't expect it. I'm fine doing things independently. I love being by myself. Whereas like she is used to attention. And like that was a thing earlier in our relationship where I was like, go find something to do alone. Where it's like, no, she wants to be around all the time and attention. So, you know, those are the only child traits.
Well, good thing you're young. Shana, do you want to have a kid?
Right now, I'm good. I'm similar to you, where I grew up either raising kids or just teaching kids. I was a music therapist for 5 years, so I worked with varying levels of disabilities, mental health, all sorts of things. And I'm just like, wow, I have raised thousands of kids.
That's tight, though. Okay. I didn't know you were a music. How did I know that you were a music therapist? That's amazing.
It comes up in a fun time. Like I got some instruments sitting over here. I got my drum set back there. Like it's a fun time. I could
totally see you as a music therapist.
Yep. And I loved working with teenagers. Teenagers were my shit. Because I could sit and call them out on their shit.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. I was like, I want to be able to explain something to you and you be able to reiterate it back. And if you just don't follow the instruction, let you know that karma is coming for you, but also being able to like sit and like teach lessons and talk to them and show them that like somebody actually cared about them and didn't give up on them. Where it's like younger kids, you're just like, I'm going to repeat this 8 times. No, don't pick your booger and put it on the guitar. No, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I don't want to have to. I'd rather have to tell a kid not to throw an instrument across a room rather than tell a kid to like not be gross on an instrument.
Yeah.
Even though I did work with younger kids, that was the age that I worked with when I lived in Arizona. I worked at like a school that was specifically for kids and adults with varying levels of disabilities. And I worked with a lot of kids that were like 7 and under for the most part. And they were cute. They were fun. But it was just like, you know, the same thing over and over again, where it's like when I worked with my teenagers, I worked at a residential treatment center. My kids lived there. And it was fun to be able to like bond with them in music because it was very relaxing for them. It wasn't like therapy, which feels like a lot of pressure and it feels like somebody's going to attack you emotionally, where it's like you come to music and it's like, oh, this is a non-threatening environment. It's great. And so I could connect with them on different levels in that front. But also my mom worked at my school. She got hired there when I was in 3rd grade because she volunteered too much. So I would stay after school and help kids all the time. I worked at camps. I was teaching lessons. Like I was doing a lot of stuff with kids. So I'm just like, me being an aunt is perfect right now. So I'm okay.
No, I get it. Sense. First of all, most of my listeners know that I love teachers, and it's amazing that you were a teacher. Do you think you're going to teach again?
Should we say thank you for your service?
Yeah, I was going to say thank you for your service.
I wasn't technically. I was a music therapist. I wasn't a teacher. I don't claim
but that's like a big deal.
Don't diminish that.
No, don't diminish that.
I was like, music therapy was a big deal. So
think
it's like
a
I
big
take
deal.
that because what the teachers were doing in the school that I was working at, I was like, what the teachers were doing was great. And then what I was doing was great. So I just like claim my music therapy title.
Well, I would like to agree with Kris. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Yeah, you said all that, but it's like, thanks for your service.
But but I get it. I mean, I taught swimming. I taught babies how to swim in Marin.
Oh, wow.
I know,
you're
for
one
like
of those
6
like
years.
that just like shoved kids in the water and then let them like figure it out.
Well, no, kind of, not really. No, I mean, I really like taught.
I heard
kids.
kind of, so it's in there.
It just depends on the kids. But I did have, it was really fascinating though, because I ended up having, there was this family, I don't like, wow, what a random story to bring up, but we're talking about it. But they had 5 or 6 kids. And one of their daughters had a disability where she couldn't move her arm and part of her leg. Like it was just maybe a muscle dystrophy. I don't know exactly what the situation was, but she was so lovely. And I spent all summer with her teaching her how to, like, it's so funny. You have to be nimble in those situations, right? Because like, of course, I'm like teaching strokes. And some of the kids were like in high school and like really good swimmers. And their goal was to be, in college or, everybody had different goals. But we kind of developed this thing together. Her name was Brittany. I hope she's doing well. She must be like 20 something now. And we just learned how to roll, just roll around, but like so that she wouldn't drown. Like almost like tumble through the water. Anyway, beautiful times.
It's so cool.
Shout out to Brittany.
Sounds majestic.
It was really hard, but she got it. And so some of that learning with her was I would push her in the pool and oh my God, I was so nervous. I was like, these rich white people are going to sue me. Yeah. But everything, Marin, I was like, but it was fine. Everything worked out.
Liz, thank you for your service as well.
You got to
take it. You're not going to accept it.
I used to like, no.
You taught children. That's the criteria.
I did.
If you
that's
teach
fine.
children.
I taught kids. Yeah, that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Being an auntie is good. It's fun. I just think when you're older, it's the patience, I don't have any. I hate everybody. Yeah. So, which is actually my next point.
Balance.
What I love about your show and what I love that you asked me at one point when I was a guest, and hopefully when I'm a guest again, if I'm not, I'm going to be very offended.
151.
And you always ask like what your bad queer opinion is. And some of them are real funny. People really take that in directions that I wouldn't expect, which is really nice. And I feel like they've almost gotten more heightened for some reason that I've seen most recently. What is your most recent, both of you, bad queer opinion? Because it always, I assume it changes with the times. And what is the craziest bad queer opinion that you can remember a guest saying?
Well, I definitely know for that latter question, the most polarizing one was a recent one about, it was Rashid Newson.
I knew you were going to do that one.
Yeah, that's a lot of responses.
That one was great.
Okay, what did Rashid say?
He said that his bad queer opinion is that he's not his ancestors' wildest dreams. Like he's queer. They probably wouldn't like him. But we're bigger than what they could have thought. Like we couldn't live in their shoes. They couldn't live in our shoes. Like it's just 2 different worlds. He definitely explained it way more eloquently than I'm doing now. But essentially that, where you just had some people who absolutely got it and was like, yeah, like we're not tethered to what they thought of us. We're not their dreams, because it's just like, they couldn't even fathom us now. Like even queer folks back in the day wouldn't even really might not recognize a lot of the stuff now. But yeah, we've evolved from that. And then there was other people who were like, no, we absolutely were. And there were other queer people who would, all that. So it was a lot of really good opinions back and forth about that. But it was a really good bad queer opinion because it did elicit a lot of feelings, opposing feelings. So
that's so funny. I didn't read it that way. I read that and I totally found it. Well, because here's the thing. Like I even look at young queer people now and I'm like, you're just out here doing whatever the fuck you want for the most part. And it wasn't like that. It wasn't even like that 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think then it even is layered, especially what your background and heritage are. If you're white, Black, Asian, where you're from. Are you from America? What does that look like living in another country being queer now? Like, so many different things. Anyway, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was the one that you were going to pick, but Shana, now it's your time.
Well, it's the ones that spark conversation are the ones that are the best, honestly. It's fun to see how people take the different opinions, because you can take it for like the clickbait that it is, or you can take it for the full conversation that comes from it. And some people take the clickbait and just see what it is and run with that. And other people hear the whole conversation and are able to say like, that's interesting. Here's what my perspective could be like. Because some people who, like Kris was saying for Rashid's, like some people just came in and were like, what, are you saying our ancestors weren't queer? And it's like,
no,
one said that.
Definitely nobody said that. No one said that.
Calm down. Yeah. Nobody has said that. And other folks who were like, oh, this just flipped something in me, or this is something new, or I've never even thought of it in this perspective, or that hit too close to home. And it's really fun to see the bad queer opinions that spark conversation, because that's all we're hoping for. That's all we want, is to be able to point out those different things. And while you can agree or disagree with it, or agree with part of it, whatever, you are sparking conversation, you're sparking thought. And a lot of people don't have the open space to have that, because when we're talking about the queer community, it's either you love us or you hate us. And that's it. But when we get to go within the queer community and actually talk about these things that sound quote unquote polarizing, it's fun to see the reactions, because it's almost like we're giving permission for people to talk about it and to have these conversations, and to know that like coming to our podcast and coming to our page, it's a safe place to talk about it. And yeah, we might throw some shade, but it's fun. And that's the hope. That's what we hope to do with Bad Queer Opinions.
So what's the one that you love as of late?
Oh my gosh. I know. I was scrolling back to see what somebody said as of late.
Or all time. Could be all time.
I know. I was like, we did have like a big conversation recently, and this is unfair because it's my Bad Queer Opinion, but you know, I did one where we talked about like how the equivalent of not liking bisexuals because they've been with men is the same as like straight women who won't date men who have had a gay experience, but we only talk about one. We never talk about the other.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing. There was a lot of bisexual slander. Couple months ago.
I get bisexual slandered all the time.
It ebbs and flows. And I was just like, we need to talk about both sides of this, and also getting deeper into the conversation around how it like impacts more like Black women or Black men and how that intersectional identity comes into it. So that was a really big conversation that we had.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Which ones did you like personally, Liz, that like, or I guess since the last time we've been on, that you were like, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's
there was
circle
one
back
about
on
a
that
strap. I don't remember. Y'all talk about straps all day on that show.
Yeah,
somebody had some crazy strap one. I always like being a femme fly on the wall, watching the like stud conversation and the butch conversation. Because as someone that likes to top from the bottom, I really am like, all right, well, at least these sensitive thugs are at least really coming clean about what it really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
which strap?
I can't remember. I should have come more prepared to my own podcast.
Is it? I wonder if it's I know there was this was a Sam J thing about it. Straps being overrated, which I definitely agreed with, where it's like, that's not.
Did you have Sam on your podcast?
That's not even the best of what we could do. Like, that's not my go-to. But I think that's a thing of like what, and I'm not going to speak for every set here, any dice that whatever masculine identifying person. But for me, that's not my go-to. And especially as you get older, like I don't want to like strap up. Like
it's
I'm
like stepping into
so much.
It's like literally like, I mean, it's like, no. It's like going in like the little baby swings. It's so you got to put the one leg through the one thing. And if the one leg doesn't go through the other leg, it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Then it's
that awkward moment between like whatever we're doing, before and everything to just kind of get to that point and warm it up, everything. And then it's just like, we got to take this awkward pause for me to put this fucking, like, it's
so intense.
Not the greatest.
It's all like,
you don't have like your talking game down. If the room isn't like on par, if any part of that is lacking, the experience is ruined.
It's ruined. So I don't know. I think that's one. I hated my bad queer opinion, if you recall, was that I don't like armpit hair.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah, there were some opinions about that.
Yeah, people weren't feeling me for that. I'm sure people said all types of shit.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. And you know what?
That's why we have these conversations, because there are people there are people who don't like it. And
Phoebe
it's like,
Bridgers just walked the Met Gala red carpet. And I was like, literally the words that came out of my mouth were, damn, she looks really good. Her armpit hair creeps me out. It looks warm, soft, moist. And I don't like it. I don't like it on men, women, non-binary. I don't care who you are.
You're like equal opportunity.
Just don't like it.
I'm
just not into armpit hair of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was my bad queer opinion. I wonder if my bad queer opinions have changed. My most recent was that I don't like the Kim Petras, Nicki Minaj song Alone. I'm not into it. It's not really for me.
10 seconds and I was out of it.
Me too. I was like
Not
in, out, and then it was over. So I would say that is my one today. I think my bad queer opinions though, and that's why I asked you if, you have a new one that you have yourself or what ones of late that you have resonated with you. Because for me, especially being an ornery, tired, old person, they really are coming up every day where I'm like, you know what? Can't handle this. Don't like it.
Yeah. I was like trying to think what was a good like recent one that we did. It's always and that's funny that you mentioned it's like grumpy old man kind of thing now where it's just like, oh, I don't like this. But I'll share a conversation. We haven't had this conversation yet, but I was talking to a friend of mine that is in the community and like still can't really wrap their head around like just all of the pronouns that are out and like the newer ones, and like had sent me one the other day. They just discovered Z-Zer, like with the Z. It was just like, what the fuck does that even mean? That was popular
a while ago, and I feel like the Z-Zer, I feel like that has gone not as mainstream.
Not as
it
popular.
had a moment.
Yeah, like people use it. I've seen people who are using it, but it's not.
Can you explain not to put you on the spot for the listeners, what someone might use
Z-Zer.
for Z-Zer?
Yeah, it's just another genderless pronoun.
That's
right?
what I would have
out
said,
there.
but I was let me let you fall on the sword.
Yeah. I was like, right, and that's why I put
let me let you say the wrong
queers,
thing.
Like, just to put y'all back on the spot. Right, queers? Just so y'all could
be like,
get in
y'all
trouble
are out here
too.
putting your definitions at the beginning, and we're like, oh, do we have to go back and study? Because we
if
can
you
do
co-sign it, then we're all wrong.
That's it.
But yeah, it's like a genderless pronoun and everything. But my friend was just like, who is queer, is just like, it's just too much. Like, it's just too much. And I was like, I do hear that a lot in our community. It's usually the L's and the G's and the B's are usually complaining about just new expansive language. I don't know if this is a bad queer opinion, but I'm so sick of the L, the G's, and the B's being so just like, I don't know, just like making a big deal out of it. Like, language has always expanded. Like, why the fuck can't like queer people expand language now? Like, we're drawing the line now. Like, there's a new word or words every day. Language has always expanded. We are self-defining for the first time ever. Like, we could do whatever the fuck we want. And for that particular like Z-Zer, I was like, how often are you going to actually meet someone who goes by those pronouns?
Exactly.
Like, it's not going to happen a lot. Like, it's just not. And when it does, like, what is it to just respect somebody by just calling them that? Like, it takes nothing to do that. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Agree with you more.
I'm getting tired of complaining. Who cares?
Gives a fuck? That's kind of my position on so many things. Like, why do you care?
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird.
It's so weird. It's like, don't you? I'm tired. I have a lot of things going on. I got a lot of content to ingest, got a lot of work to do. Why the fuck do I care what somebody else wants to be called? And what is the extra effort that I have to put in to disrespect somebody? Why can't I just be like, yeah, sure, whatever the fuck you want? Like, I don't care. Literally don't care. Yeah, I think that's a good. It doesn't affect anybody. Good bad queer opinion.
Reality, like, it just does not for real. It's just a respectful thing. Like, it's not a lot. Like, I was like, and especially if you're a fan of hip hop or rap, I was like, we got new words all the time. I didn't think thought was gonna make it as far as it did. That hoe over there. Like, when thought first entered the lexicon, I was like, this isn't gonna happen. Like, I thought it was gonna be like fetch, where it's just like, okay, this is, it's funny, haha. But thought is like a real fucking word. Thought has had staying power. Bling bling had its run, where it's just like, that's a fucking sound effect,
bling,
Bling.
Right there.
So That's what I'm saying. So if you're a fan of rap or hip hop or just the fucking English language or any language, shit always evolves. I just don't understand why
anyone from the Bay Area speak.
Literally.
It was so funny. I watched this video recently where some guy was interviewing somebody by the Bay Bridge, and I knew what this person was saying. I'm pretty sure that again, I haven't lived in the Bay Area in 10 years, but that sort of language and those words don't go away. And it was so funny because I was listening to it. I was like, holy shit. Because I don't listen to people, use that vernacular down here. And I was like, damn, people would be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But you know what? It all made sense to me.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge?
Here we are. Yeah. Doesn't affect anybody that much.
I miss you guys. I love you guys.
I miss you too.
Happy 3-year anniversary. Thank you for coming on Cool. Also, one of 3.
Obviously, you got to come back to Bag Rears. So
I love
your
shaming people. That's my biggest
ready.
thing. I just shame and guilt until I get on people's podcasts.
No, you got to come back. You got to come back. Like you have to come back.
I'm scared. I don't know what you guys are going to ask me. I got to get all.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
It's always a fun time. It's always a fun time. Shana, I will see you in Chicago.
Damn right you will.
I'm nervous and scared. I mean, not nervous and scared of Chicago, but I can't believe I've never been to Chicago before. I don't really care about a deep dish, though. Do I have to have a deep dish pizza?
No, you don't have to.
What if I don't want a deep dish pizza? What would be the other food item that I should get in Chicago?
A Chicago dog.
Ooh, those are good.
But guess what? Here's my bad person opinion. You know how I like my hot dogs? I like them grilled, split open so they're flat with just ketchup.
Okay. That's not bad. It could have been worse.
I didn't know what you were about to say. That's not that bad. For Chicagoans, it's that's not that bad. Because that's typically how I would have had it. And then I came to Chicago and experienced the joy.
I got 2 cousins doing that right now.
I don't like mustard, really.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I had it. And for some reason,
all right, fine. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll get the heartburn. I'll bring some Pepsid AC. Little Pepto.
Come on, adulting.
Pepsid AC and Tums has to be in your bag.
Oh my God,
Chris. It has to be in your bag.
You should have seen us in Mexico last week going into the pharmacy. I was like, I need some Ozempic and I need some Pepsid AC. And she was like, okay, got it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no.
All right, Chicago dogs. And Chris, send me your son.
I'll come to LA. Yeah, where would you take me in LA?
Where would I take you in LA?
Yeah.
Downtown. I'd take you to Soho House downtown.
Okay.
We turn up.
Come on, Soho House. You know there's a Soho House out here too.
Yeah, I'm staying there.
Oh, perfect. Look at you. Oh, that means I get to use your +1. Come on.
Sure can. Sure can. Bring your girlfriend.
It's gonna be warm. We can do that rooftop pool. Come on.
Yeah, we can. For sure. See, look. Auntie Liz in the building.
Look at y'all.
Boom.
That's so awesome. Thank y'all for y'all service. Thank y'all for y'all service, honestly.
It was hard for me to wrap up this episode. I could talk to these two for the rest of time. I'm so in awe of Kris becoming a parent. I'm so happy for Shana that she moved to Chicago with her girlfriend. I love reconnecting with people. I think sometimes, we all look at what we're doing on social and we listen to episodes and whatever, but nothing really beats a proper catch up. I hope that you follow them and listen to their podcast. Word on the street is they will probably have a Patreon soon, which you should 100% subscribe to. And I don't know, if you have a bad queer opinion, let them know and let me know.